Hey YouTube, coming at you with Beyond the Hype for Empoleon to figure out whether it is actually worth its number 3 ranking in the Great League. And you can see right now, Shadow 3, non-Shadow 4. So does Shadow matter? Not really. It actually depends on the matchups and depends on how you want to play it. And I'm going to go over what my thoughts are on Shadow Empoleon. I use the Shadow Empoleon with the new Metal Sound. So what the Shadow does versus the non-Shadow, basically you get an extra 20% shadow bonus and you for attack, and then you give up 20% on your defense here. So you're essentially giving up like, I don't know, the 22, 23 here on your defense. So now that could put you into like a 90-ish, 80 defense, which makes you very, very, very glossy. At the exact same time, you're adding another 14 on top of here, makes you 140. So it essentially makes you a glass cannon. You're already, yeah, and that's why one of your negatives here is that you're a glass cannon. So your attack's pretty high, your defense is pretty low, and your stamina's okay, actually, not too bad. But it just means you really can't take many moves, and you're going to see some of that in here. So now the question becomes, is the Metal Sound damage and the Hydro Cannon enough to overcome in the various shields and arrows, and how do you play with it? So it got Metal Sound, and much like some of the Dragon, I mentioned that a lot of moves have these stats: 3 damage, 4 energy. There's quite a lot of them. We just went over Dragon Breath and Dragon Tail and Reggie Drago the other day. And then with same type attack bonus, because you're half steel, that 3 damage becomes 3.6. The water steel typing is absolutely fantastic. 3 weaknesses: electric, fighting, and ground, which are very meta typings at this point. But how many here? 11 resistances. Pretty much every other typing in the meta you resist. Not quite, because there's 18 typings, but 3 and 11 is 14 of the 18. So you resist quite a lot of typings, quite a lot of meta typings here, which makes you absolutely fantastic from a typing perspective. So playing with it, I played with it as a safe swap, because I mentioned in my video when I was covering the rankings that I think Empoleon is basically going to be what FERALIGATR was, right? A safe swap that has an insane amount of coverage. Now, FERALIGATR had Ice Beam, so if you went up against a like a grass Pokemon where water is resisted, you can hit super effective with the Ice Beam. Here it's the same thing. If you run up against a grass, you can hit super effective with the Drill Peck. What the Drill Peck does that the Ice Beam does not is give you something to throw at water Pokemon. So having that for water Pokemon is a positive too, and Drill Peck got buffed this season. So I picked just a core of Toadscruel and Talonflame that kind of cover each other's weaknesses. Toadscruel is going to be weak to ice, and yeah, ice is the main one. Talonflame going to be weak to rock as the main one, and they cover each other's weakness, and then use Empoleon as a safe swap. So you don't need to get out of the lead if you have a normalish, like, neutral lead. And then, yeah, also Talonflame weak to like electric, like the Dene would cause it problems, and Toadscruel will resist that easily. So I think the pairing as well on Talonflame and Toadscruel, just with Empoleon as a safe swap. I am running Flame Charge on Talonflame because my assumption is that there's going to be more steals this summer. Or not summer. Summer is over, unfortunately. More this season. And Empoleon is like a prime example of more steals. If you ran Fly Brave Bird, you have nothing to throw. Whereas if you have Flame Charge, you could potentially ramp up and actually do pretty well against most neutral water steel types or steel types Pokemon. So let's get into the battles. I'll go over sort of what I found the strengths of Empoleon and issues at time, ignoring some of my bad plays here. It's still, yeah. So terrible lead. You're weak to fire on the lead. The only problem with Empoleon here is that you are also have steel. So you're taking neutral to fire. Because you're spamming, you're going to outspam Talonflame. That's not a question, because it only takes you 10 to a Hydro, and it takes them 15, 10, and 10. So you're going to outpace here. But as you're seeing here, they just commit the 2 shield and now have 100 energy. So luckily, knock on wood, that it remains the same. I have found that the 1-turn lag is not a thing. I got the 1-turn lag when I got the 1-turn move when I came in, and I got just the 1-turn through there, like the fast move through there. So basically, I got the moves when I'm supposed to, which allows me to get to a move here. They do catch on Como. That's fine. They're catching a super effective Fly. Not enough to take out, but the Incinerates are such a heavy damage move that even resisted will take out here. And I'll come out with some energy, and we'll see what they come in with. It is a Talonflame again. Get to that Fly. This will take it out, and we'll see what's in the back here. So Empoleon in the mid game, strengths, you know, Shadow Hydro Cannon is really going to put some pressure on people because it does like 115 damage, and all Metal Sound does 3.6 damage per turn. So not like super hard hitting like a Charm or anything, but enough to chip. What you're going to see on some Pokemon is your Metal Sound Hydro Cannon is not going to take out. Like if you get like a bulkier Pokemon like Ferret or something, it will not take out. And then you're left in this kind of weird situation where like Ferret's maybe not a good example because Swift is resisted, but then it kind of leaves you in a weird spot. I didn't need to leave Switch, but I thought I had Empoleon and Talonflame in the back. So my thought process was I don't need to leave Switch, but I have a Steel in the back and a Fire in the back. And if you're running Wigglytuff, you probably have an answer to Steel and Fire in the back, right? Because it's sort of two of your biggest weaknesses plus poisons. So Ground was kind of expected. It's a Mud Boy here, which makes it tough for Empoleon. And this is not a great example of what I was trying to say, but because Metal Sound is also resisted, so that adds on to the trouble. But because Metal Sound resisted, Whiscash was able to take a Hydro Cannon and live, right? Because Whiscash is kind of like a kind of sneaky bulky. I shield thinking that it potentially could be Blizzard, and I'm double weak to Ice, and I don't want to be one shot. Come in here, and then in the back is a Charizard. Charizard coming out in full force. Yes, I know Home Slice covered it immediately, so that's probably why it's already gotten a little bit of a boost. But, you know, Charizard's one of the OGs, and it was very meta relevant in the early seasons of GBL as well. So not surprising people have it built up. And it's had like, what, 27 community days, give or take, over the past like 9 years. So not surprising that a lot of people have it. Do get off the Flame Charge on the Wigglytuff. So we'll grab a shield there. And now, thanks to grabbing that shield, I should be able to go double Seed Bomb to take this out. And I do take it out, despite seeing a Whiscash in the mid game there, because you are able to put at least match shields. Okay, this is a fantastic lead because you resist ground and rock, and out comes a Pharaoh. Why are you going into an Empoleon? Why are you going into a Talonflame, which is neutral, instead of an Empoleon where it's resisted? Well, I'm a scrub, is the short version, and now I'm trying to fast move time, and I'm not getting it through. They're getting into another move because they are spamming at a crazy rate with their pack. So doing my absolute best to throw this game here. Get to the Flame Charge. They do end up shielding. I think I'm at 2 moves. Yeah, so I can grab a second shield back to back. So I may get taken down here, but at least I grab both shields back. But obviously not the play you want to make. Come in with Empoleon where Peck and the flying moves are resisted. That being said, I don't even know if you want to take a resisted flying move from Pharaoh here. As you can see, like those resisted pecks are adding up. Not a ton, but more than you would want to see. Marowak comes in. Unfortunately for them, I grab both shields. So here comes a super effective Hydro Cannon. Yes, Shadow on Shadow Hydro Cannon is going to one-shot. Altaria comes in, and this is where bulky Pokemon are sort of an issue for you. Yes, I'm aware I'm at half health, so this is a different story. But when the bulky Pokemon can live your move, it makes it a little tricky. So what I thought was I can just almost bank a move and come in here and maybe make a catch or force it to throw. And I do, and then I get to the wrap and thinking like, okay, this should be enough. But I think they're left with like a couple HP, and I can't mud slap a flyer down, even though I do get the defense fall because it's wrap. And now they just get to a move, and I do not have a move banked. I'm one short, so I will lose this matchup because even in the yellow here, Sky Attack will take out. Oh, Flamethrower. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. Flamethrower is neutral, does take out. Marowak lead again, great lead. So they're going to, I was going to say get out, but I remember one stayed in, and I was like, why are you staying in when you have no move to throw? And the Annihilate comes in, so I eventually come in Talonflame. I know this gets tricky if I let this go, because then it's like a potential shield and counter Rage Fist your way through this. So I did let go. If they want to shield and try to counter down, they may, but I have a Flame Charge, which is going to cause them maybe make me incinerate down. Either way, I do get it. Blastoise comes in. So I'm coming to Empoleon where the moves are resisted. My fast move is also resisted, but so is their charge move. Let's see how much it resisted Hydro from a... Oh, Skull Bash. I mean, Skull Bash is a hard-hitting move. But that takes me to the deep yellow, which means I'm probably Hydro Cannon range now. So, and those Drill Pecks non-stab did not even do 50%. So Blastoise is a pretty good example of like the problems that you can potentially run into with Empoleon. 2 Drill Pecks did not take out a Blastoise. They've only have resisted rollouts and Hydro Cannons and Skull Bash. And they would have easily taken me out because they landed that first Skull Bash to chip me to the yellow, and I'm basically in Hydro range, while at the same time the Metal Slam being resisted, Hydro Cannon is resisted, so you have to throw the Drill Peck and a non-stab Drill Peck. Yes, it's good, but just doesn't have enough oomph to take it out. So now what you're doing is you're hitting harder with these charge moves, but still not hitting hard enough to flip it from that 3 to 2 like you would want to if you're a non-shadow versus shadow, while also giving up the bulk here. So I noticed that in a couple matchups. A couple matchups with a couple matchups with Empoleon where I came in and it was just like I throw a charge move and I'm just like, oh, that did not do enough. But at the same time, I'm taking more damage because I'm a shadow here. So you could use non-shadow. There will be some times where that shadow bonus comes into play, like that shadow on shadow Marowak. I don't know if a non-shadow one-shots. Maybe it does because Shadow Marowak's also weak to water. But like, there's going to be some scenarios where you could theoretically just go Metal Slam and Hydro Cannon that you won't be able to do as a non-shadow. And then there'll be matchups where you're giving up some bulk, where you're giving up bulk here, and it's still going to take the same amount of Hydro Cannons to take out that it would the non-shadow. So that is a very not succinct way to say I don't think it matters whether you use the shadow or non-shadow. I think both have play. I think both are going to be fantastic save swaps. Both will have their own style of what they can take and not take, and what they can output for damage and not output for damage. But I think both are definitely worth plays. Gastrodon is going to be another example. This will not one-shot, so you're going to need a second charge move here. So I'm going to come in here and just mud slap it down. But it's stuff like that. It's just like, if you're a non-shot Empoleon, 2 Hydros are going to take this out anyways. But now you have like 2 Shadow Hydro Cannons that you're going to need, but still now taking more damage because you're a shadow. So I'll stop talking about the shadow versus non-shadow. But I know a lot of people ask, even when I do top teams or I put in a Pokemon, does shadow matter? Does shadow matter? 95% of the time, it does not matter. There are some times it does matter. Like when you, like, I don't think I'd use like a Charizard or Typhlosion or Machamp, those type Pokemon. The glass cannons, I don't think I'd use the glass cannons without it. Empoleon is not a glass cannon until you add the shadow, right? Because the stats there, I'll just make sure that doesn't pop up while the battles are on the screen. It's a 125, 117, 122. So it's on par with like maybe FERALIGATR, and it's the same thing with FERALIGATR. Yeah, FERALIGATR is 123, 117, 125. So you got a little less, barely less in the stamina. You're very similar to FERALIGATR, which is funny why I said like, oh, it's gonna play like Shadow FERALIGATR, because it's basically got the same stats, same water typing, different secondary typing, same Hydro Cannon that you're getting 2 and 10, same cover for your weaknesses. So it's not surprising that Shadow Empoleon is playing like Shadow FERALIGATR. But this is the same thing with the Shadow FERALIGATR versus non-Shadow FERALIGATR. Can you use both? Yes. Is FERALIGATR in itself a glass cannon? No. Does FERALIGATR becomes more of a glass cannon when you use the shadow version? Yes. And that's the same thing here. You're becoming a glass cannon when you use the shadow as opposed to the non-shadow. I would not consider you a glass cannon. And either a PB Poke. Wow. So good at this. Okay. That's enough. Another Marowak here. So fantastic lead. Toadscruels could be an interesting one. You're going to see Ninetales from me tomorrow. And when I first used Ninetales, I'm like, I'm the best Ninetales player in the world. And when I found Togedemaru as the core breaker in that season, I'm like, I'm the best Togedemaru player in the world. I may be the worst Toadscruel player in the world. I really don't know how to play this thing. I understand its strengths. Like, you wall Marowak. You actually have a great place in the meta because you're neutral to Fairy, you're neutral to Dragon, you resist Rock and hit super effects against Rock, which is meta. You resist Electric, triple resist Electric, double resist on ground, single resist on grass, triple resist Electric. So you're going to kill like the Dedenes and all the Electrics that are in this meta. I understand you get killed by Flyers. You have a Mud Slap and Seed Bomb. But it's these like neutral matchups. I'm still just like, I don't know if I like this Pokemon. I understand how strong it is overall, but I don't know. Like, I know most people just go straight Wrap because Wrap lowers your defense. You have Mud Slap. It gets same type attack bonus. Just Mud Slap, Wrap your way through. Seed Bomb, obviously with same type attack bonus, is just a better move for damage. So I think in my mind, I sometimes just want to go for that. But yeah, let me know if you played Toadscruel. What's the best way to play it in like various matchups? Do you just like stay in neutral matchups? This is not a neutral matchup. This is a terrible matchup. So I need to get out of here immediately into my safe swap to be met with the Mud Boy Quagsire. And same thing here. Non-Shadow, it'll take 2 Hydros to take out. Shadow, it'll take 2 Hydros to take out. But what are you giving up? You're giving up these Mud Shots really adding up on you. Mud Bomb probably would. I assume Mud Bomb would take out a non-Shadow type non-Shadow Empoleon. Maybe not from a non-Shadow Quagsire, but it's definitely going to take out a Shadow. But they decide to bait me there, and that allows me to get to back-to-back Hydros here. So very unclear why they baited me. Oh, it doesn't because that Mud Shot goes through. Yeah, I remember this. That Mud Shot goes through and takes me out. So you're going to lose because of the Mud Shot, the extra damage is adding up there. You resist all the moves here. Let's see what's in the back here. I don't know what's in the back. This could probably just be Psyshock. It will chip. And in the back is the Thunderfang Steelix, because as we went over yesterday, Dragon Tail just probably is not the move you want to run on Steelix at this point. Steelix will have play in this meta, just with that Thunderfang alone and the Steel typing. But overall, I think it's going to play very similar to last season. Togekiss, I think they rightfully just let it go. Rightfully? Is that even a word? Rightly let it go. Shield out the first move, hoping I can get to 2 Wraps here. But I cannot. And they let the first one go, knowing that the defense fall would cost them. So end up losing by a couple HP here. So yeah, Empoleon is, in conclusion, Empoleon is the new Shadow FERALIGATR. People have used Shadow and non-Shadow FERALIGATR in the past as safe swaps. You can use Shadow and non-Shadow Empoleon as a safe swap. The extra Steel typing compared to FERALIGATR picks up a couple weaknesses. It picks up a ground weakness and picks up a fighting weakness. It neutralizes grass. You become neutral to grass. But that Steel also picks up a ton of resistances and Fairy and Dragon and Poison. So lots of benefits with that Steel typing, and I'm sure I missed like 1 or 2. Rock. So you pick up a bunch of resistances with that Steel typing. That's what makes Steel one of the best sort of typings, and with the way the meta is going, one that you probably should see a lot of this season. So yes, is a plan worth investing in? Yes. Should you use if you have not gotten it, should you use an Elite TM on it? I mean, I think when it comes to that, can you use Empoleon without Hydro Cannon? No. Do you have to use it, Empoleon? If you have a Shadow FERALIGATR, I know Empoleon's ranked much higher because of that. Drill Peck is just faster than Ice Beam, still gives you the coverage, hits water Pokemon, and the steel typing, right? That's why Empoleon is ranked higher than Feraligatr. If you're low on elite TMs and you don't have Hydro Cannon on Empoleon, is it worth investing in? That's a decision up to you. I think it's one of those, like, how many elite TMs do you have? I have, since I've played all the GPL seasons, I have like 17 plus sitting in my, and I don't buy them either. I just get them through GBL and whatever other research tests they give out for free. So I have them. If I didn't have Empoleon, I would probably put it on. But if you have like one or two and you have a Shadow Feraligatr, I would just, if it were me in that specific scenario, I would just use the Shadow Feraligatr and wait until Hydro Cannon for Empoleon comes back, because everything comes back. For sure, you're going to get another chance to put Hydro Cannon on Empoleon. So just wait till that happens. And watch that time be like now. I know, I don't think so, because the Kanto's on right now. So it's time to get Hydro Cannon on Blastoise, which you need. Ninetales team coming with Blastoise in the back. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. But that is it. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate the support. And I will see you guys in the next one.